I want everyone to know that last week the TikToks took so long, and despite the fact that Vince edits them, Kevin was the one to be like, "We need to condense them this week and just move it along." And we all agreed to do that. And I got one name out, and Vince immediately went off track.
Well, that's what happens.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yeah. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 51 of Birds vs. Boys. We are fully into the offseason. A lot of players are signed in free agency. A lot are still sitting out there. College pro days are happening. The draft is quickly approaching. So much happening. Aidan, how are you? We had the Vig It Challenge last weekend. We have the winner coming on with us, Drew Smith from Liberty Line and Design Tree. We had a lot going on.
We absolutely do, especially for a time where it's a little bit dead in the NFL. But I'm happy to be back because, like you said, we had the Vig It Challenge over the weekend, watched about 10 straight hours of college basketball. My brain was mush, and I told this on Drunk Off PNR last night, the basketball NBA podcast. I'm pretty excited to be talking professional sports again. I could only take these kids missing free throws with 6 seconds left so much longer. I'm excited to be back talking pro sports and NFL. And as much as I love other sports, I can never drift away from the NFL.
No, it's our home. It's our baby. It's where we live. You and I.
That's our new slogan.
Yeah.
We're the football guys.
We're the football guys. I was watching The Other Guys before. Very underrated movie, by the way. But yeah, we are the other guys. We're just the football guys.
Probably. So this is just, I'm a huge movie guy. Haven't seen that movie. And
You've never seen The Other Guys?
I've never seen The Other Guys. And I don't know why. I've seen like every Will Ferrell movie. I've even seen Daddy's Home, which Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell are in. Which, I mean, isn't that even that good of a movie? And everybody says about how good The Other Guys are. So I don't know why I haven't seen it.
Watch it immediately, please.
I
you have some technical notes to throw at the people before we get into this?
Always. Let's keep it organized before we go off talking about our favorite Will Ferrell movies. So, like you mentioned before, Drew Smith, leader at the Liberty Line, an ally blog here in Philadelphia, kind of new age blog like us, where our dads and grandpas read the paper, and people our age read blogs like Liberty Line, and he's the head of that, head of Design Tree as well. If you are wearing a shirt in Philadelphia pertaining to Philadelphia sports, you probably know who Design Tree is. So he would be a good guest to have on and talk some birds. And also, I'm sure you guys will argue about birds and boys as well. And then going forward, already concocting plans for the NFL draft. So we've got that. And then, as always, follow Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter. And we're blogging a little bit more, too, there. So all the blogs will be on the Twitter page as well. And also, we hit 1,200 followers on TikTok. So thank you to the person who pointed that out to us, because I had no idea. It was like a guy who said, "Hey, I'm your 1,200th follower." I was like, "All right, I didn't know."
Congratulations.
Cool. Thank you.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family. So those are my technical notes for tonight.
All right, let's get into it. Before we bring Drew in, how about I start? We'll go a little Cowboys first, since we have Drew, and he'll touch more on Eagles with you. So the Dallas Cowboys free agency. This is our first show since their big signing. No, I'm not talking about Dak Prescott. No, I'm not talking about re-signing Jordan Lewis. Keanu O'Neal, the safety, former Atlanta Falcons safety, coming off 2 straight years of freak injuries, is joining the Cowboys on a 1-year deal. He obviously is familiar with the system with Dan Quinn, the former head coach of Atlanta, is now the Cowboys defensive coordinator, your favorite guy in the league.
Is that a system you want to be familiar with?
If it's the system that he ran in Seattle, absolutely.
Okay.
If it is the system run in Atlanta, no. But Keanu Neal comes over. I am excited about it. He is going to play like the rover hybrid type position. So he can play safety. He can also play linebacker. If that means it gets Jalen Smith off the field, I'm good with it. So I was happy. This is what the Cowboys do. They were never going to be big players in week 1 of free agency, unless you want to count the Dak Prescott signing as their big free agency splash. I don't, because they kept him. He's really not a free agent signing. We knew they weren't going to get deep into it early, but I was very happy with them signing Keanu Neal. I was on Instagram, and on Instagram, you always see all these makings of players, and they're in the jerseys. Like last year, CeeDee Lamb, there's 1,000 of him as an Eagle.
Don't remind me.
Do you know what number Keanu Neal wore in Atlanta?
42, right? Wasn't he in the 40s?
22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's some kid on Instagram who makes these things like, "Oh, I love such a good account. Welcome to the boys. We them boys, Keanu Neal," and made him wearing a 22. And I'm like, you obviously were like born in 2006. Like, this dude is never going to wear 22. No one is ever going to wear 22 ever again for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, get the fuck
really funny
out of my face.
That's actually really funny. I guarantee it didn't creep across that kid's mind that it could be retired.
No, not at all. Like, hello, Emmitt Smith. Oh, God. All right. So I was very excited about that signing, as excited as you can get about a safety coming to a team after 2 straight years of injuries. And then today, Wednesday, as we're recording, the Cowboys had 3 visits to the Star. 3 more safeties came in. They had Malik Hooker, Kazee, Domontre Kazee, who was also the free safety in Atlanta with Keanu Neal. And then they brought in Jaron Kearse, who was from Minnesota and from Detroit. Listening to G-Bag Nation today, our guy, Jeff Kavanaugh, said Jaron Kearse was his least favorite prospect he has ever watching film coming out of college.
Shot at redemption to get him in free agency, I guess.
He will be the Dallas Cowboys starting free safety next year. Book it.
No doubt about it. Wow, that is a strong sentiment. You know how much film that guy watches? For him to be like, yeah, this is the worst I've ever seen.
And he's been in the league a couple of years, so it's not like he just watched the film last year and was like, oh yeah, I remember that. He was in Minnesota, he was in Detroit, and now he's a free agent. But apparently he's going to be, if the Cowboys sign 2 of these free agents that they saw today, which could happen, he's going to play more of a special teams role. Apparently that's where his best spot is. He does very well on special teams. Again, he'll be the starting free safety for the Dallas Cowboys. But Malik Hooker also put Cowboys Nation in a tizzy after leaving the Star. He just tweeted 2 smiley emojis, and the world lit on fire. And then he's like, well, that blew up. Sorry, I didn't sign, but we'll see. It's in God's hands. So don't know what that means, but he's not part of the Cowboys yet. He could be by the time that you are listening to this. Would I be excited if they signed Malik Hooker? Of course. But you have to also be realistic. The only reason the Cowboys have a chance to sign Malik Hooker is because he has an Achilles injury. If he isn't coming off this bad injury, they wouldn't be able to sign him. Oh, do you know what Kazee's coming off of?
Also Achilles?
Also Achilles. Yep, it's great.
Yikes.
Wonderful. Can't wait. Excited.
Wait, didn't Keanu Neal tear his Achilles? Why was he out?
I forget.
I'm putting you on the spot.
It's a leg, too. I don't know if it was a quad. It might be an Achilles. It was a leg.
I knew it was a leg for sure. But, I mean, I still like that signing very much. I think speed is the name of the game. Not Jalen Smith. So I really like that Keanu Neal signing. I can't remember. I feel like it was an Achilles, though. I feel like it was his foot or something like that. So
I think it was.
Was something weird with the foot, but it wasn't good. It wasn't he didn't roll his ankle, and he wasn't day to day. That's for sure.
No. And Kazee, I don't know if you probably don't remember this. It was not this past year, the year before, when the Cowboys played Atlanta. He was just run over. I'm going to have you find this, Vince, not now, but when we put it into a video for Twitter, Kazee, who was the safety for Atlanta, who now may be a safety for the Dallas Cowboys, was literally run over, pile driven, and sent to the back of the end zone by Ezekiel Elliott. Literally, Zeke just lowered his head and was like, good night, and just pushed him all the way through the back of the end zone. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Can't wait.
So yes to him on the team.
Yeah, he'll be there. So that's kind of everything that's happening with the Cowboys right now. But also, they have informed Aldon Smith that they are moving on from him. Apparently, listening to 105.3 The Fan today as well, they're not really getting into it, but it seems like there's been more off the field issues with him again. He's really fighting those demons again. And this is kind of why the Cowboys are moving on. Apparently, he really needs to get back to working on himself and his life rather than playing football. So I wish him nothing but the best. He played out of his mind, especially in the beginning of the year for the Cowboys after not playing for 15 years. So I hope he does everything he needs to do, and I hope he does play again, because when he's on his A game, man, he's a freak.
I did not know that. I was surprised when it said that they were moving on, but I guess that's why. Interesting. Yep. All right. Well, that's a shame. I thought they really, I thought he had it all turned around. So that sucks. It does.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll monitor. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Like Aidan said, we'll be all over if the Cowboys sign any of these, 2 of these, or all of these safeties that they had in. And then there's also still a need at linebacker. So a name I'm going to throw out there for you that I would like them to target at linebacker after they lost Joe Thomas, who our guy Kyle Yeomans was telling us about last week. I would love for them to go out and get KJ Wright from Seattle. He's still sitting out there as a free agent. He's a little bit older. He's still got some gas in the tank. Again, he knows the system. He played for Dan Quinn, and he would just bring a veteran presence and leadership and that winning mentality to this defense. So I think he would be a great get if they could.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be a perfect get for them. And it wouldn't just be, like you said, there's not much left in the tank. He is older, but I don't really think you sign him from a talent perspective. I think you sign him from a leadership perspective, where he's going to come into a place that really hasn't won a lot, and he's going to have a ring on his finger and say, this is actually how things are supposed to be done. I would, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I would love that signing. And again, talent restrictions. It's like the Sixers with Danny Green. Like you kind of have to know what you're getting into with him. Like he's just not giving you that much anymore, but he's a great teammate to have, and a great person to have in the locker room. I think that's where they'd be at with KJ Wright.
And then beyond KJ Wright, free agency wise, the other big hole that needs to be filled right now is backup quarterback. Obviously, the Eagles signed Joe Flacco as their backup quarterback. The Cowboys right now have Ben DiNucci. I can't wait to get into that. They have Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert on the roster as their backups. Are they going to go into next season with those two? Probably not. If I'm the Cowboys and the money's right, I'm calling Alex Smith. I think him backing up Dak Prescott would be great. I don't think he is going to get a call to start in this league right now. So bring him in. He's basically played in every single system there is in the NFL. He also played for Mike McCarthy 1 year, his rookie year, when McCarthy was in San Francisco. So he's, I guess, familiar with him, you could say. Make the call if the price is right.
I agree. And I'm also really excited for him to sign for $1 million less than Joe Flacco, despite being 10 times more talented than Joe Flacco. I can see that coming a mile away.
Can we also dunk on right now AJ from I made fun of in the group chat for Branded Sports. I was like, can you imagine paying Joe Flacco $4 million? Like, yeah, well, you wildly overpaid for Andy Dalton last year. I was like, $3 million was wildly overpaying. He's like, I thought you gave him $10 million. I'm like, for a backup quarterback last year? No, that would be this year with the Bears.
Guy. And he's starting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
I mean, yeah, gotta love it.
Banter.
Do you want me to just get my rant out of the way for Joe Flacco then?
Yeah, get it in now before we have Drew come in.
I was about to say, I think before we start our interview with Drew, he's going to echo my sentiment, but just what a shitty move. What an embarrassingly pathetic franchise that can't do anything right. And just, again, He made $1.25 million last year. He will make over $3 million this year. So they more than doubled his salary, despite the fact that he's a year older, has had back and neck surgeries, and didn't win a single start when he was called into the line of duty last year. And then they overpay him. And there's the potential that they may have to give up a compensation pick for him next year. Just what a shitty franchise that can't do anything right down to signing backup players. They just can't do anything right. It's just, and I thought about this like a good analogy for it. And it's like, I've been having problems where I go to the same Pep Boys at home and they always screw something up. It's never a big thing. Like, I've never driven away and my car explodes. It's never something big. It's always something minor. So if you put it in a microscope, you're saying, okay, that's, it's annoying, but it's not that big of a deal. But when you expand it and you look at all of these things, it becomes super frustrating. That's where we're at with the Eagles. You look at one thing, you're like, why are all these people worked up about Joe Flacco? It's a backup quarterback. He can never see the field. Yeah, but if you put it in a microscope, yeah, they just overpaid for a backup quarterback. But they haven't made a smart move in 3 years. So then when you start analyzing every move and every move doesn't make sense, you got to say to yourself, what the fuck are they doing? When I go to Pep Boys and I stand at the front gate or at the front stand, and nobody says a word to me, and I'm there and I have an appointment and like nobody waits on me for 15 minutes, and I don't want to be rude and ring the bell, but like we're face to face and we're not saying anything, and they just walk by me. And then you talk to them another time and you're like, hey, my maintenance required button's on. Can you guys take a look and figure it out? And you get the car back and the maintenance required button's still on. And then they're like, yeah, the car, we'll have it for 4 hours. And then you come back and they're like, we're not going to have it done today. Like, these are, in the microscope, these are minor inconveniences. My car is not going to blow up. But when you expand it and look at all of it, it becomes super frustrating because you can't make sense of anything that they're doing. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. None of the moves they make any sense.
And then you're sitting there. You wasted half your day. You couldn't go to the gym. You couldn't go to the bar and hang out with your friends. And now your whole day's wasted. So you can't understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and they're inconveniencing you and your life.
The one time, remember when I missed one show this entire time? It's because my car was still at Pep Boys.
That's right.
This is literally, this analogy is a true story. Every time I go there, they screw something up. I didn't have my key. They had my Pep Boys have my keys. Pep Boys gave Joe Flacco at age 42 billion, $4.2 million. Up to $4 million. I just can't believe it. Why? Mitchell Trubisky is making less money with the Bills, and despite being the butt of everybody's joke, he's still a more talented quarterback than Joe Flacco. And I didn't even think about the Alex Smith thing. He'd be a great backup because if Jalen Hurts, who you didn't believe in to be a starting quarterback as of 6 months ago, who could now be your starting quarterback this year, if it doesn't work out, you could just go to Alex Smith. Like, nothing they do makes sense. I can't justify it. I was in this argument where with one of my friends and like in a group chat, and I'm like, I'll always root for the team, but there's a difference between rooting for a team and supporting a team.
Yes.
I don't support this team in anything they do at all. But I'll always root for them. We'll always do this podcast. There will always be an Eagle banner behind me as I record that you can see.
You will always stand 6 inches from the TV.
I will frustrate myself and stand 6 inches from that television on game day, but I don't support anything they do. And why would you? They screw everything up.
Vince, when you cut this up and you put it on Twitter, tag Lindsay. Okay, we got to get her back on.
I know she's a Joe Flacco sport, and this isn't a Joe Flacco like
full love, like
True.
would marry tomorrow. I think.
Yeah, more than I support Wentz, she supports Flacco. But this is not like an anti-Joe Flacco rant. It's not. I know it's
anti-Eagles, just a bad move.
Bad move. Yeah, like if they draft Justin Fields at 6, am I going to be happy? No, I'm not going to be mad at Justin Fields though. If that makes sense. Like they have to draft him because they've screwed up this many times, and now the move makes sense. That's kind of where we're at.
Until week, 12 rolls around and Joe Flacco slings it to Jamar Chase for a game winner against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, and you are just coming in here with an elite shirt on and like pickles on your eyes dancing.
Jamar Chase is the only thing that can save me at this point. Like, I've been so down on this team. They draft Jamar Chase, I'll talk myself right back in.
With Joe Flacco starting.
With Joe Flacco. I don't even care who starts. Just put the ball in the kid's vicinity and let's go play. That's all I care about at this point. I've talked myself into him so much. I don't know if I can watch football if he's not on this team.
What if it's Kyle Pitts?
That'll I'll be okay. I won't be as excited. I would still complain a lot. I'd watch every game, but I'd complain. I'd complain a lot less if Jamar Chase is on the team.
What if it's Trey Lance?
Oh my God. I'm with Jack. I'm rooting for Trey Lance because just fucking put me out of my misery.
Yep.
I'm like a bedridden 103-year-old. I'm like Prince Charles. I'm like, what do you have left?
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically a walking corpse. That's what I am as an Eagles fan. Just draft Trey Lance and put me out of my misery so I can
just end it all.
caring. Just end it.
Just end it all. Oh God. Well, I think this is a perfect time to bring in Drew. No?
Yeah. Now that I've ruined our chance to ever get a Pep Boys sponsorship.
We've ruined Red Roof Inn for Branded Sports and Pep Boys.
That was
for
that one was
Boys.
me too. That was the mistake.
But you know who we do love? Stateside Vodka, baby.
Stateside forever. They have never wronged me. Stateside has never wronged me.
And we were taking just straight shots of Stateside during the Vig It challenge. Like nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't cold. It was just Stateside.
I know. And it was in they gave us enough bottles that it was in every room so that it was front and center. I would love the product placement. I love this company. They really they do have this thing figured out.
We got to get you one of those long sleeve things I had on, that thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Maybe next live stream we do might be live from Stateside for sure.
Amen.
Amen.
Right. All right, let's get into it.
Drew Smith, Liberty Line, head of Design Tree as well, an ally here in the blogosphere in Philadelphia, and ally in terms of fandom for me. Here he is, Drew Smith.
All right, Aidan, always excited for our guests. I'm not that excited for this one. Just kidding. I'm very excited to be joined by Drew Smith, our good friend who runs Liberty Line as well as Design Tree. Like you said earlier, Aidan, if you are a Philly sports or just a Philadelphian in general, chances are you own a Design Tree shirt. And if you do not, get your ass a shirt because they're the most comfortable shirts. They look good. They feel good. They play good. So that's all that matters. So Drew's joining us here. He was just part of the Vig It challenge with us for Brandon Sports. What place did you come in, Drew?
I came in first place. I absolutely destroyed everyone at Brandon Sports. I do appreciate the intro, though, guys. It's great to see your faces again.
After kicking our ass.
I mean, I kind of destroyed everyone there. And it's funny, too, because that night I lost every single bet I placed. So I just caught 5 for those early games and then literally did not hit a bet the rest of the night. So I'm glad we bet the early ones.
I think that sums up gambling eventually.
You're pretty much.
The house always wins.
Yeah.
The book will get you in the end for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hold on. That starts my questions before we get into the football ones. If you had your choice between $500 and West Virginia making the Sweet 16, which would you choose?
$500. I mean, there's no guarantee past the Sweet 16.
How about if they made it to the Elite Eight?
$500.
Yeah.
Final Four. I should have said Final Four to start. I feel like that's
well, I've never seen a Final Four, so I was trying to go down. I mean, 2010 they made the Elite Eight and then lost. I don't know. I'd probably still take $500 unless you're guaranteeing me a national championship. Then I'm taking $500.
That's fair. I think.
Think about the pain. You know, make it the whole way to the Final Four and then you lose, and then I don't have $500. I think you have to either go championship or the money.
I would, if it were my team, I'd say if I made it to the national championship, I'd be happy to be there enough that I would sacrifice $500. Anything less than that, I wish I would have won the competition on Saturday and got $500.
Yeah, but what if you were a team like UNC who lost on a buzzer beater against Villanova? Like, $500 sounds way better than that happening.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, at least now UNC though, I guess they've been there before, so
True.
you at least know that you have something to fall back on. So if you don't win $500, you'd be okay.
That's true. That's very true.
We also, Aidan, real quick before we get into this, we have breaking news here, something we were talking about earlier in the show. The Dallas Cowboys have signed safety Jerron Kearse. Mike, our guy, Jeff Kavanaugh's least favorite prospect he has ever watching film, and he is a professional scout. So the guy the Cowboys drafted is a Cowboys scout's least favorite player he ever scouted.
Congratulations, I think.
Very
yeah,
exciting.
I mean, first, that was the worst breaking news I've literally have ever been a part of in my entire life. I know this is a football podcast, but we are up against NBA trade deadline, and you come out with breaking news about defensive back for the Cowboys that no one likes. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because we were talking about it earlier in the show, Drew. So congratulations on being here for the breaking news that the people are going to listen to the day after, and everyone already knows he signed.
I think it'll be funny if people are going to listen to this tomorrow and Kyle Lowry will get traded overnight. And when you say breaking news, everyone's going to think we're going to react to Kyle Lowry. Yeah, it's
that's true too.
Dumbass safety from the Cowboys.
It's like we should be like pre-recording celebrations that you guys can edit in based on what happens.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. We do that with blogs sometimes. Do you guys do that with blogs where you're like, person X has been traded, just line it up and have it ready?
Line them up. Yeah, we had all of the players like Alshon, Malik Jackson. Who else did we release for cap space? Deshaun. We had like all those blogs just were like, well, none of these players are coming back. I think they were written like mid-January. We were just waiting to publish.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Just have it ready, locked and loaded.
Got to. Got to.
Well, let's stick with the Eagles. I have a few Eagles questions for you. Let's just cut up about this sad sack team for a little bit.
Sure.
I think I saw your tweets a little bit on this, so I know the answer, but tell the people. There was an Athletic article about Carson Wentz in his comments where he kind of said he feels more comfortable in the Midwest and enjoys Midwest culture more. Philly Twitter took exception to that. Are they justified in doing so?
No, they're not, because the one tweet that blew up about that, the guy who tweeted that did not tweet out the whole quote.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Yep. He cut it off on the part where the follow-up question was like, how is Philadelphia and everything? Carson Wentz sat there and said, I enjoyed my time in Philly. I love the city, good people and everything. It's just different than North Dakota. And if you didn't know that, I'm sorry. Yes. North Dakota, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you didn't know that Philadelphia was different than North Dakota and that made you upset, like, I really get a map and stop watching football. You know?
Go back to civics class.
Yeah, go watch Fargo or something. Like, it's a totally different world out there. And you can't be mad at someone for identifying those differences between North Dakota and Philadelphia.
It blew my mind. That first, the outrage that the Philadelphia media wasn't allowed to be at his press conference, and then the outrage that he likes the Midwest and not Philadelphia. It just, the softness that came out through both of those incidents.
Terrible.
Let the man move on. Okay, stop texting your ex at 2 a.m. asking if she's sleeping with somebody. Just let it go. It's over.
Just wait till like week 9, and we're 2-7, and the Colts are 8-1. Just wait for Philly then, because it's going to get real ugly around here real quick.
I agree. It's going to be a full-fledged civil war. It wasn't already.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. If I was Howie Roseman, I'd go buy a house on some island right now and just prepare by the midpoint of next season, where the Colts are maybe the best team in the AFC. And the Eagles are in last place, and the Rams are leading to the NFC East.
Last place of the worst division in football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier because people were doing mock drafts. And if Jamar Chase falls there, like if Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts are on the board, he almost can't pass them up. Even if you think like another guy will be a surefire Hall of Fame talent, he's at the point with his job that even if you think that, I don't even know if you could pass up on those guys because like he might have to go into witness protection if he does.
Yep.
I totally agree with you, but at the same time, like, I mean, he's in a lose-lose situation. I mean, we saw it a little bit with Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson this past draft where let's say we go and take Kyle Pitts and then Jamar Chase is on another team and he's absolutely lighting it up and the Eagles are a bad team in general and Kyle Pitts doesn't have like a top 6 season, then everyone's going to be so upset that Jamar Chase wasn't taken and we took Kyle Pitts. And then the same goes the other way. You take Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts has a bad season, Kyle Pitts goes somewhere else. Like, it doesn't – everyone's going to be mad about the Eagles all season long. So I am just in full, like, let's get ahead of it now. Everyone's going to be mad no matter what happens, who's picked, who's not picked, who's doing what, because this Eagles team is just a bad team in my opinion.
You better draft the rookie of the year at 6. And if you don't, there's just going to be hate.
Dude, what if you draft the rookie of the year at 6 and then the team still finishes 4-12 on the season? And it's like, well, we didn't draft another guy. Yeah.
4-13
now.
I say we have to train our brains. We have to train our brains.
That's gonna be tough.
It's
17 games.
I know. My brain just it's gonna take I think a full season. Might even take 2 years before I fully get used to saying the end records.
Did you guys need another game? Does that like do it for you? Are you guys like excited about another football game?
No, well, this year, no.
It's weird. I always, in the off season and the beginning of the season, I'm always like, I don't know how I live without football. But rooting for the team that I root for by the end of the year, I'm like, can it just be over now? So
right.
I don't. No.
But you never know because, as we know, the NFC East is a little rough. And then all of a sudden, we might need it the 17th week to decide who was going to finish 9 and 8.
7.
the race to 9 wins is back on.
It's no good. It's no good.
10 wins is going to be kind of boring now.
Yeah.
Like 10 and 7. Yeah. That's the new 8 and 8.
That's the new 8 and 8. Yeah, pretty much. It'll feel like that for sure.
But yet still we won't be able to get to 10.
No. And not only that, but like no one's ever even really – what is the reason for adding another game besides for the NFL to make more money, right? I mean, was there any other reasoning behind it?
Money.
No, it was strictly money. I don't even think they hide the fact that it was money.
No.
Okay.
Money. There's more games to play and there's a new television contract, so they wanted to play more games.
You can watch that Coors Light commercial for another week over and over again.
Can you imagine being the NFL and just being able to go into any meeting that you want, whether it be with the players or whether it be with these, with Fox and CBS and Amazon and ESPN, be like, oh, okay, so you paid us $2 billion. Yeah, we're going to double it. Yeah. And there's nothing that anyone can do except say, okay, or they walk. Like they can just name their price and name whatever they want and just go.
So that whole new deal now, Thursday Night Football is only on Amazon Prime, correct?
Starting in 2023, but it can start in 2022 if Fox opts out. They have an option to opt out. I don't know why they would.
Yeah,
it's like an opt out year of a player, and they'll end like what?
Well, maybe they want to put Jack Bauer back on TV on Thursday nights on Fox. I don't know. But yeah, of course they're not going to opt out. But I don't know.
And then ESPN's going to have 3 double headers. I mean, that they can't even get one good crew together though to do a Monday night game. So having 3 double headers is going to be rough. Unless it's Fowler and Herbstreit.
now.
I mean, I wish we would take it away from NBC. I mean, I can't listen to Chris Collinsworth anymore.
You're not a big Collinsworth guy?
Not at all. He's the worst.
Oh,
no, you guys disagree?
In terms of, how about this? In terms of sports or in terms of just football?
What else does he do?
No. Like, I mean, like commentator wise, like, is he the worst commentator across any sport, or is he the worst commentator across just football?
No. Who's the guy? Who's the guy? Or Marv Albert, the guy on
Marv Albert.
TNT for
Yeah.
NBA. Like, he doesn't know any of the players.
He doesn't need to.
That one Sixers game, he was calling Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey. He was calling Tyrese Maxey, Ben Simmons, and he was calling Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris. I had no idea. Like, I was casually listening while I was finishing up work, and I had no idea who was on the court. I looked up. I was like,
none of those players are here
right now. Right.
Allen Iverson to the line to shoot too.
And you're just like, what are you talking about? But Chris Collinsworth just never stops talking. I don't like that.
Romo's starting to be that for me too. Romo doesn't let he's good. But he doesn't let the game breathe either. It's just like, it's like, all right, but nothing's worse than Booger and Witten. Nothing could ever go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, they're real bad too. I think that's why Jason Witten went back to playing football, right? Because he was just like, I can't talk. I'm not good at this.
No.
Basically, right? He's just like, I'm not good. So there we go.
So bye.
But, yeah.
All right. Give us we're talking a lot of draft prospects. There's been some pro days. Surtain, Horn went today, the cornerback from South Carolina, the good old Gamecocks ran a 4.39. So who are 3 of your favorite prospects in this entire draft that you think the Eagles realistically have a chance? We've talked about the receiver, we've talked about Pitts. Anybody else that you love?
No, not really. To be honest with you, Kmess, and I told you this when
I know.
Come on.
Haven't been paying attention.
I'm one of those guys where when football season ends, I am absolutely done with football until August.
Shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an incredible guest for your football show.
All right, so then give it just name brand. Who do you want the Eagles to take then? Is it just Jamar Chase?
I want the Eagles to take Jamar Chase. I think he is the best player in the draft, really, for what the Eagles need, right? So we draft Carson Wentz at number 2 overall, and then we did not build around him at all. I mean, I guess you could say we tried with players like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, but like obviously that didn't work out. So you want to go all in on Jalen Hurts, go get him the best possible weapon in the NFL draft this year, and let's see what he can do. Worst comes to worst, nothing works out. We'll have another high draft pick the following year and probably have to waste it on a quarterback.
Yep. Do you think there's any chance they take a quarterback this year? And would you be mad if they did?
Would I be mad? No, I wouldn't even be that surprised if they went and took, which, I say this on Fox Sports The Gambler all the time. Like, what if after the season we just had and what happened and how everything unfolded with Carson Wentz, if with the number 6 overall pick we drafted Trey Lance out of North Dakota State? Like, at that point, we all have to admit, like, we are living in a simulation, that none of this is real, and we are now have a rookie QB from North Dakota again.
Yes, it just repeating. Like
I need
shampoo.
That would be absolutely insane. I don't even know what would happen to this fan base if something like that happens. But it's just crazy. I mean, selfishly, I like a guy like Micah Parsons at number 6 because the Eagles just have 0 linebackers like forever. And Micah Parsons is an absolute psychopath on and off the field. And I think he'd be perfect right in the middle of this Eagles defense that needs just like one of these like mean motherfuckers. Sorry if this is a family show, but that's what Micah Parsons is. That's what Micah Parsons is. He's a mean motherfucker. And if you put him in the center of your defense, I think you have to go with that. But no, I mean, offensively, you need a wide receiver. Right now, you have Jalen Reagor, Greg Ward, Travis Fulgham, and that's pretty much it, right? I mean, who else is on the team for the Eagles? You have to take a wide receiver, and if Jamar Chase is there and what he did 2 years ago at LSU is incredible. I mean, you got to bring him in.
Record breaking, yeah. So I've been shared like going after Micah, like that's my guy, but I also have no hope that he actually ends up in Philadelphia. But I agree. Like, when was the last time we had a linebacker? You're like, all right, this guy's going to have 12 tackles today, and he's just going to run all over the field and kill someone. Never.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Trotter's probably the last man. Axeman.
Yeah, the Axeman. I wouldn't mind Micah Parsons going out there and starting the axe thing again. Just make sure he doesn't actually have a real one in his hands because he's crazy.
He is a little crazy. He's from up in Aidan's neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Is he?
He's from my hometown, yeah.
So where are the Cowboys picking, Kmess? And what do you want? 10. You need defense. You need
We do.
Patrick Surtain.
So Surtain is on the board for them, probably. Caleb Farley was, and I'm going to ask both of you a question on this. So Caleb Farley did not play this past year, cornerback from Virginia Tech. He's a big, lengthy cornerback. They're saying he's probably the best corner in the draft. However, after his 2019 season, he missed the last 2 games and needed a minor back surgery to relieve pressure from a disc issue in his back. This past week, 2 days ago, it came out, he needed the same procedure. Second back procedure, and he did not even play this past season. For me, he's off the board. I can't take him at 10.
No, I agree. You just can't. I mean, you can't take that type of risk, especially with the top 10 pick where the Cowboys actually need defense help. Like there's no
This is, if you haven't met our producer Vince, this is what he does. He distracts us while we're working.
I had no idea what was going on. Chris Farley popped up everywhere. But no, I mean, I'm with you. You can't. You just can't take that risk, especially when you have a top 10 pick. Maybe if your pick was at like 20 or something, you take a fly on him. But top 10.
If he's still sitting there at 44 when the Cowboys pick in the second round, take him. But I can't. So they apparently fell in love with Surtain at his pro day. He jumped out of the gym. His measurables were unbelievable. But I don't know. I think he's a stretch to take at 10. I really want Slater, if he's there, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. I harp on this show every week that this is not 2016 anymore. The Cowboys offensive line kind of stinks. Tyron Smith's getting old. Connor Williams stinks at guard. You take Slater, he slides right in there, starts at guard from day one, and then he's Tyron Smith's replacement for the next 10 years. I think they do that. You guard your investment in Dak, and you try and piece it together the rest of the draft for defense. Every other pick is a defensive player. That's what I would go. Or Kyle Pitts if he's sitting there. If Kyle Pitts is sitting there at 10, you have to take him.
Take him.
But he's not going to. I don't think he's getting past Cincy.
Were you happy with the Dak Prescott?
I was. Because I think once this TV deal comes through, the salary cap is just going to explode. Jerry Jones knows that. Did Dak win every aspect of it? Absolutely. He won he can't be fucking tagged again. He can't be traded. He won every dot and every T and every period, every exclamation. He won every single part of that deal. But you kind of knew he was going to. So if they didn't sign him and they tagged him again, he was just going to Kirk Cousins them. I didn't want that. He was going to end up being the Bears starter next year. So if you don't have a quarterback, you've got nothing. They have something in Dak.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I was just pulling up my little updates here on Deshaun Watson. He's up to 16 cases now.
Yeah,
God.
It's like
we'll bring producer Vince in for this one because Vince likes this topic.
I think it's up to 22.
22?
That's what I heard. Not confirmed.
Refresh. I gotta refresh my ticker over here.
Do we want to tiptoe around this?
No, let's walk straight through the fire.
God.
It's tough. It's tough because after the first couple that came out, and Watson came out and was like, "I've never disrespected a woman or anything." I was like, you know what? Good for you for standing up for yourself and turning away like these alleged cases full speed. But I mean, once you get over like 7 or 8 of them, and now you're up to like 22, like
yeah, if you're at 22 and half of them aren't true, there's still 11 that are.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally take away like 90% of the cases, and he still has at least a case or two. I mean, I don't know anything about math, but
yeah,
that's not good. It's not good.
I don't know what to think. I really don't. The whole it like unraveling on Instagram and stuff. We've talked about this. Kind of makes me weary, but at the same time, as more and more come out, like you said, where there's smoke, there's usually a lot of fire.
And they're all very similar, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because it's like, all right, are all these people copying what everyone else said to make it like, believable, or is he just like a serial like creep where every time he gets where every time he's getting a massage, he wants a finger in his butthole and he wants to force a masseuse to, do sexual acts on him. Like, why not just go to a rub and tug? Like,
or how about your Deshaun Watson? Just call
yeah, you're 6'5" millionaire who's a quarterback. Like, you just like don't have to do this.
Just go on Instagram.
Yeah, just do anything else besides what you have been accused of doing, pretty much.
Somebody made this point, and it's like that girl the Phoenix Suns girl. You couldn't have just called her. Like, she wasn't available to take care of this for you.
That story died real quick. Was that true? That was a wild story.
That was very true, because she said it herself.
I don't know. I
don't know either.
I contacted all of them via Instagram, but like if you're already sliding in DMs on Instagram, just skip the massage part.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, some of those like kind of like serial creeps like that. Maybe like that's what they need to like kind of like get them off.
Get off. Yeah, it's like a serial killer. They can't stop themselves. I hope the Eagles trade 12 first-round picks for him, and then he is found guilty on every charge, and then goes to jail for life.
That's not.
It's like when Louis C.K. started doing stand-up again, and he was like, listen, everyone's into a thing. Mine's not that great, and now you all know about it. So it could just be like, be Deshaun's thing.
Would that be not?
It can't be your thing. It's illegal.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's a legal thing, but I'm saying. I mean, it was a cool thing.
That explanation's kind of like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know if you can explain something like that. I'd be like, yo, yeah, I just killed Aidan. Like, that's my thing, though.
It's my thing, yeah.
Sorry.
This is 2021. Let everybody is who they are.
I chopped off Aidan's head. It's hanging on a stake outside my house. And you know what? That's my thing. Everyone has their thing.
Listen, if we draft Trey Lance, you can do that. It's fine. It won't hurt my feelings.
I'm looking. I got NFL Network on here, and Bucky Brooks has Kyle Pitts going 13. Like, who is what?
No, that can't be true.
Stinks. He has the Eagles taking Justin Fields, but would that would be the most Howie
Justin
Roseman
Fields?
thing ever? Yeah.
Dude, bro, are we gonna really take a quarterback? Is that what's gonna happen? What a disaster! This Eagles team, and it's funny because like literally like last summer, you look at it and it's like Phillies, absolute disaster. Sixers, absolute disaster. There's no hope. I guess you can throw the Flyers in there too. I mean, they were good, but whatever. And then you look at the Eagles and you're like, Carson, we got his speedy receiver. We finally gave him weapons. Doug Peterson, big balls, Doug. And then all of a sudden we went for the tie against the Bengals, and the entire world came crashing down. And now the Philadelphia Eagles are pretty much the laughing stock of the NFL, right next to the Dallas Cowboys.
I can't believe that we've done that 180 where that our mental health now depends on the Sixers being good, which for a very long time is a place that I did not want to be. And here we are. And the Eagles are the total opposite. Like you said, I always go back to that Bengals game. Like that to me, like was almost waving the white flag in week 4. The leaves hadn't even turned brown yet. And we were already like, all right, this is going to be a disaster.
It was absolutely insane. And I mean, that was like really one of the biggest turning points. I mean, you can look at it at the beginning of the season, but of course, hindsight's always 2020. That game against the Ravens where we blew that 17-point lead. Carson threw that terrible interception. Like that was the writing on the wall. But really, that Bengals game was like the straw that broke the camel's back because it was just embarrassing to watch. No, it was real bad.
Yeah, we're a lottery team written all over.
It was rough.
Well, before we get you out of here, I'll let you do one more rant. on the Eagles, because this is our first show post Joe Flacco signing.
Mhm.
So you're writing a blog for the Liberty Line about this. What's your take on Joe Flacco being backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles this year?
Here's the thing, and I'm going to kind of cheat on this answer. I would never write an article about a backup quarterback. And the Philadelphia Eagles team and fan base have been so poisoned. And I always say this, that the Super Bowl was one of the worst things that has ever happened in the city of Philadelphia, just because we're not a city that was used to winning things, right? We had the Phillies. They were good for a little bit. They haven't been back to the playoffs in over a decade.
Yep.
And we're not used to winning things, especially not a Super Bowl. And after that, this whole sense of the importance of a backup quarterback and what it means to a team to sign one and what they could do, or possibly they could fight for the starting position or so on and so forth. I have zero interest in backup quarterbacks. That's why I didn't want Nick Foles to come back here. That's why everyone in the city of Philadelphia just needs to forget about the backup quarterback position. Like, yes, you need a reliable backup quarterback. I guess you can say Joe Flacco is that. But then reports come out and say that he was signed to be a mentor for Jalen Hurts. Well, Joe Flacco hasn't mentored anyone, right? I mean, Tavares Jackson, no. Drew Lock in Denver, no. Sam Darnold in New York, no. So he's not mentoring Jalen Hurts. And then there were other reports that came out saying that they brought him in to compete with Jalen Hurts to be the starting quarterback of this team. Like, is that some type of motivation? I have no idea. But just a general consensus, I do not care about backup quarterbacks. I prefer if I never even see them, besides them holding a pen, a pad, and wearing a headset on the sideline. And hopefully, in one way or another, we'll be able to get past it. But I think there's more dark days ahead, because when Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out, we're going to draft another QB, and then people are going to argue about Jalen Hurts or the top draft pick that we took at the quarterback position. So, like I said, we're just kind of in a world of misery and pain, and that's about it.
Quarterback
That's about it.
just keeps on chugging.
It's just it's an absolute mess to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan right now, and maybe it's because it's March and it's tough to really get invested in this team before the draft 2 months after the season, but it's just tough. Like, I'm not really ready to emotionally invest in this team yet.
Neither am I. I may never be ready for a very long time, but
no,
I'm with you. This is just like a one constant stimulation.
That's I feel like that's like the perfect place to end it, actually, with Drew, except for tell everybody about Liberty Line Radio, where they can catch you guys, where they can listen to you, Design Tree, all that jazz.
Yeah, so my day job, I work for Rush Order Tees. I run the marketing department up there. We got this website, as apparently you guys have already talked up. I do appreciate that. It's called designtree.com, DSGN Tree. Brand Sports has a bunch of awesome shirts, all different types of stuff up there. Liberty Line does as well. We work with all Sixers, Phillies, everything, all the blogs, social media accounts. Did the Sixers win? They're huge on there. And in the spare time, there's a Birds of Boys t-shirt right there. And then, kind of my spare time, we created the Liberty Line, right about Philly sports, full coverage, all 5 teams, got a bunch of good podcasts covering every single sport. It's just fun, guys. It's a lot of fun. We love working with Branded Sports. I was like, what else can we do live streams and drink all day at Kmess's in-laws? I was like, oh, we have a Sixers game tonight. We should all be in the NBA and betting on it or something. But that was awesome. Hopefully,
NFL draft maybe.
Yeah, we'll still trend in the right direction, and we can start doing a lot more live events, because I think the Liberty Line and Branded Sports are just getting started. It's 2 household names covering Philly sports, and you look around, not a lot of other blogs are working together or, even want to work together, and they're all kind of dickheads about it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yep.
So you look at us, and you have Brand Sports, the Liberty Line working together, trying to create content together and, bring everyone up with us. So let's rock.
Just makes sense. And it's fun, like you said. We have a good group of people on both sides, and I just can't wait till COVID's gone, and we can do something real big.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right, Drew. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. We're gonna have to have you on again once the season rolls around and once you become an actual football fan again.
yeah, I know. I mean, I did warn you guys I wasn't going to be coming in here with a lot of Eagles knowledge, just some general opinions. But I'll come talk to you guys literally anytime you guys want. So I'll definitely be talking to you guys soon.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Drew. Thank you again, Drew Smith from Liberty Line and Design Tree, for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure just to chop it up with Drew, Aidan. We don't have to have that conversation went in 17 different directions, and that's exactly how I thought it was going to go.
We probably should have prefaced it that most of our interviews were professional. This was more of us cutting it up with a good friend and a good blogger, and Liberty Line is very successful, so I'm sure we'll collab with them here soon in the future, possibly the draft. Investors, possibly you.
Total cryo, maybe.
Total cryo. Yeah. So thank you again to him. I know it went 17 different directions, but in a way that was how it was supposed to go. So
it was a blast. It was a blast.
And
another update. The Cowboys are in contract negotiations with Kazee, not Malik Hooker, but he is still going to visit with the Lions. So
I don't think you realize how on edge Philadelphia is in terms of like Woj bombs ready to go off for the trade deadline. And they're going to listen to this podcast and think that something is happening and think Kyle Lowry is coming, and it's going to be Kazee going to the Cowboys.
Not yet. Not Kazee. That was the other guy. I don't even know his name.
Going to be frustrated with you.
They always are. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I have a banner, 2 banners behind me that they get
Still
very.
Haven't figured that part out yet.
Nope. All right. Is it time for world famous TikToks?
I think it is. I think it's a special one today because we are inching closer to the draft. We just brought up some possible collabs that we're going to do for the draft, but it is mock draft season. We've touched on prospects a little bit, but this week was really the second wave of mock drafts as we really at this point are about 1 month out. So what we're going to do for the TikTok tonight, top 5 non-QB prospects in the upcoming draft. We had touched on quarterbacks before. We have to with the Eagles because they might take one. So we want to just focus on guys who are not quarterbacks. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville. Let's take that out of the equation. Let's just talk skill positions and up front with the trench work in the line. All right, so we've got our triangle back to normal. We're going 5 each, 5 to 1. It can be any position but quarterback. You guys ready?
Let's do it. The 5 positions that or players that we're most excited about or intrigued about, correct?
Yeah, the 5 most talented. It probably goes hand in hand. The most talented ones in the draft and the 5 you're most excited about. Because I'm assuming those, if they're exciting, they're probably pretty good too.
Probably.
Vince, who knows where you'll land in that that bar graph. All right, so at 5, I have Penei Sewell. He looks to be the best offensive tackle prospect in the draft. You can make the argument that left tackle is the most important position. That is not quarterback. If you're the Bengals, probably save Joe Burrow's life and draft this kid.
I think you pronounced it wrong.
Did I?
Yeah, I think it's Penei Sewell, right?
Penei Sewell.
Yes, it's Penei Sewell. Sweeney Todd. He doesn't even know.
You're a murderer, Sweeney Todd. Here we go. For 30 seconds.
We made it 12 seconds.
I want everyone to know that last week the TikToks took so long, and despite the fact that Vince edits them, Kevin was the one to be like, we need to condense them this week and just move it along. And we all agreed to do that. And I got one name out, and Vince immediately went off track.
Well, that's what happens. And in the TikToks, if you notice, it'll be Vince talking for 10, 15 seconds about somebody, and then I'll just be like, name. And then it goes back to Vince talking about a ramble.
Well, I don't know if you actually – I don't know if you've noticed, but my picks usually require a little bit more explanation than yours.
Usually.
You just usually make pretty good sense.
Or you should just start doing without context.
Yeah.
And
people get just so angry or more excited because the TikTokers love Vince. All right. 5 for me. Cornerback J.C. Horn from South Carolina. He ran a 4.39 at his pro day. Dude is a freak. I think he may be the best corner out of the 3 top corners in Chris Farley, Caleb Farley, and Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. So J.C. Horn 5 for me.
Number 5, I have Blake Lynch out of Kansas State. You guys look like you don't know who I'm talking about. You guys don't know Blake Lynch.
Watch.
He's
a lot of them.
12 for 17 in field goals in 2020 with a long of 53, and he only went 1 for 9 for 49 yards.
Dude's a stud.
So number 5, Blake Lynch, kicker, Kansas State.
Is he an actual draft prospect?
It says so.
Okay, fair enough.
It says he is projected to go 7-free agency.
Okay. Amazing that he went 1 for 9 and might actually get drafted at the end. That's pretty wild. Well, good for him. Good for Blake. We'll be rooting for you, pal. All right. At 4, I have Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. I'm not worried about his weight at all because it clearly didn't affect his get off at the line in college. And he's got some serious speed to him, too. He's pretty explosive. And length. He's got long arms. So, 4, I have Devontae Smith, wide receiver.
4, I have Micah Parsons because he's a bad motherfucker.
And you wonder why I only give you like a second on the clips? That's all you're going to give me?
Yep. It goes back to the interview. If you listen to the interview, that's what Drew said.
It's a callback.
I guess you busted me. I wasn't paying attention. Number 4 for me, I have Rondale Moore, just a short king out there doing short king things. Kevin, I figure you can appreciate that. Aidan, this isn't your department. He's out here showing out. What'd you say?
Big heart. Small guy,
True.
Big heart.
Small guy, big heart.
Shout
He's
out
the
to
one.
Stroman. Height doesn't measure heart.
This kid is the one who squatted 600 pounds, correct?
Yeah,
that's a freshman.
Talking about me?
I think so. No, or I'm mostly talking about him for his 42.5-inch vertical at 5'7".
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
that's pretty remarkable. All right, I think that's a solid one. I think teams could actually use Rondale Moore. So, and then Blake Smith from Kansas State could.
Hey, I don't think that was his name. Hold on.
Peony Swap.
Put some respect on Blake Lynch.
Sorry to Blake. All right, at 3, I have my guy, Micah Parsons. He has been mentioned a few times. He is a bad motherfucker. The Eagles, I'd like him because we haven't had a guy who goes out and gets 12 tackles a game. So go get Micah. I'll do a whole Micah podcast if I have to.
Number 3 for me, Najee Harris, running back from Alabama. I don't know if he's going to go in the first round because not a lot of teams are taking first-round running backs, but this dude was a problem at Alabama. I think he's going to help any team that he goes to. And, I mean, the guy drove 9 hours from Dallas to Alabama this week to get to his pro day because all of his flights were canceled. Dude's a stud. Najee Harris, 3.
I actually also had Najee Harris at 3 for the driving reason. I think he's just a cool guy you need on your team.
Look at us.
You need a guy that's willing to drive 9 hours just to watch a practice.
That is pretty hardcore. I'll give him credit for that one. All right, at 2, I have Kyle Pitts. I think he's about to redefine the tight end position in the NFL game. Just become this hybrid wide receiver tight end combo who's just a physical mismatch in terms of size and height. So at 2, I have Kyle Pitts.
For all those reasons that Aidan just said and more, I have Kyle Pitts at 2. If he's sitting there at 10, I would not be complaining if the Dallas Cowboys took him because he could probably play corner for them also.
We don't do this often, but we have a unanimous pick here. I also had Kyle Pitts at 2. I think the Eagles get a lot of credit for being a quarterback factory and never enough credit for being a tight end factory. We just haven't missed on the tight end in a long time, and I think he'd be here for ever. I don't know, long ass time,
or 5 years.
True.
Who knows?
Trade him because he's unhappy because you traded his best friend.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. All right. At number 1, closing it out, I have Jamar Chase. There's been a slew of wide receivers that are good. coming in these past 2 years, Jamar is the best one. It's not even close. In the Alabama LSU game 2 years ago, he was the best receiver on the field. He's the most explosive one. He is the best receiver in this draft. He was the best receiver in the draft last year if he came out. He is number one for me, Jamar Chase.
Number one for me, it's my guy, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame. Dude is a freak. He can play linebacker. He can play safety. I've even seen comparisons to Derwin James. Derwin James is a freak. He is an unbelievable athlete. He is not that prototypical Notre Dame linebacker. Dude's going to be a stud. I can't wait to see where he goes and how he impacts this league.
Man, fuck you for making me type that out on a TikTok.
He's a
There's a
nickname.
hyphen in there. Jock.
That's what it is.
J-O-K.
Okay, that's what it is now.
That's what it is.
All right, at number one, I have Evan McPherson from Florida.
In
You
what
guys-
position
again,
does
You guys don't know Evan McPherson from Florida?
He's a punter.
Oh, he's a kicker.
long snapper.
No, of course he's a kicker, and he was 15 for 19, including a 55-yard field goal with room to spare. But he missed a long field goal against LSU that would have produced overtime. But
Are you reading?
yeah, he's projected to go in the 4th to 6th round. I know the Eagles have a lot of picks in that area, unless they have to give one up because they signed Joe Flacco. So I think maybe we find the replacement for Jake Elliott.
You know what's funny? I actually know him. Watching Florida, he banged one against Texas A&M for 50 plus on the road in College Station and with the 12
I think that's the one I just said.
That's good scouting on your part. Wow,
Yeah.
Look at that. And they were like, yeah, this kid's really consistent, but I don't know. This might come short. This is a long field goal. He just banged it from 55 with ease. Would have been good from 60 in one of the toughest crowds in the SEC.
And he made exactly 17 field goals 3 years in a row. So talk about consistency.
There you
All
go.
right. That's enough time on the Florida kicker.
Okay.
I have more little nuggets if you want more.
It was a pleasure having producer Vince on for the TikToks and the Nuggets.
And it was
kickers.
yes. Thank you for that nuggets on kickers in the draft. We'll have to have him do a mock draft where he tells us all the kicker details for everybody.
Actually, let's start a new segment. Vince's Nuggets. And each week he just comes on and gives us a nugget about a random prospect.
Oh, wait, I think you're actually onto something. You know how part of my take they do at the end of every show, Billy gives an animal fact.
Yes.
We're gonna have Vince find a random fact about a kicker in the upcoming draft. It can be a stat that's interesting. It could be something about them. It can be a projection. It can be like anything. Just find your job is to find a kicker prospect and
Or
find
punter.
an interesting fact about them, or punter. Yes.
How about just anyone's special teams?
Kicker, punter, long snapper.
Long snapper. Yeah.
Okay.
Those three.
Vince's
From now,
Nuggets.
every week from now until the draft.
How about
Vince's
Jose Borregales?
Nope, you got to save it. You get
Save
one
it
every
for the
week.
Nuggets. Yep.
Yep.
You have one nugget a week.
One nugget a
We give
week.
you.
All
It's your
right.
allowance.
And you already used the
Much
Florida
more
one.
accurate.
No. he already used the Florida kicker, so we can't go back there. So
Nope,
that
he's
guy's
done.
off. He's
He's
probably
done.
the best one.
Oh,
started to
another fun and off the rail show. Hayden.
Listen, it cheers me up. I will admit this. It cheers
Me
me
too.
up because I don't want to talk about Joe Flacco and just messing up everything that the Eagles do, including backup positions.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that we did this and cut up. And thank you again to Drew for coming on. It probably won't be the last time you see him in some form or function. Like we mentioned, the draft is upcoming. We won't be sitting around twiddling our thumbs for that one. And we move on. More guests in the upcoming weeks. We've had a strong stretch here recently, and thank you again, Stateside Vodka, always to my side as we record this, and I will need it all Eagles season long, I'm sure.
Thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, and download, subscribe, rate everywhere podcasts are available. We appreciate you all. We will be back next week after the Cowboys sign Kazee or Hooker or who knows.
So he was 90% in 2020, and he hit 8.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is
Dude,
gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
Be
it?
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.